everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda, and today I wanted to do a really in-depth review of Drunk Elephant products. That's pretty much exclusively what I use at this point. Some things I'll switch in and out, but I've been using these for probably about a year, starting to grow my collection. I think I've used everything in the collection of Drunk Elephant at one point, and I found things that I like and I don't like. So I thought we'd go through product by product and talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I know that with Drunk Elephant it is expensive, and you're paying for that research behind the combination of ingredients. And I know that you can get a lot of ingredients through other companies at decreased prices, and we'll kind of talk about that too, things that I am going to try from other companies. And again, this is what worked for me. Everyone's skin is different. To give you a background as to what my skin type is, before moving to Colorado, I would call it combination to oily. Now since moving, I think it's more of a combination with some dry spots if I don't moisturize really well. So I will get some oil in my T-zone onto my forehead and my cheeks and my chin. But my skin will dry out if I don't moisturize really well, just because of the weather here. Okay, so let's go through each product. Okay, so let's start with cleansers. We're gonna go product by product. I'll talk to you about the price, what it's supposed to do, and my opinion on it. So let's start with the butter cleanser. So this is $34, and it is designed to be a cleansing balm that melts all traces of dirt, makeup, and sunscreen from the skin, gentle enough to use around the eye area, quickly transforms from oil to milk upon contact with water. So I have been using this probably for about 6 months. Before this, I was using the Clinique cleansing balm, and I always felt like the Clinique cleansing balm was always making my eyes burn. This one does not, as long as I can keep my eyes closed. If I'm using it and I go to like get my cleanser, because I double cleanse, and I open my eyes, sometimes I will get a burning sensation like later after doing all of my skincare. But if I can keep my eyes closed, this doesn't burn. I don't feel like it leaves much residue. Now I do have to double cleanse, so I do use a cleanser after this just to get any remaining mascara off. But I feel like I have to do that regardless, just to make sure that my skin is nice and clean, before bed. I do really like this. I will continue repurchasing this. Next up, let's talk about the jelly cleanser. So this is $32. And it is meant to remove all traces of makeup, excess oil, pollution, and any other grime from the day. So, at first I wasn't going to buy this because it's like over $30 for a cleanser. You can get ones for a lot cheaper at the drugstore, which I was all about just because it's on your skin for such a short amount of time. But I was talking to an esthetician one time when I was getting a facial. She said my skin was looking really dry, and she thought it might be the cleanser that I was using. So I went ahead, started using this, and I actually really like it. It is more expensive, but I feel like it does a really good job of getting the rest of my makeup off, and I've noticed that my skin has looked clearer since using this as well. So I will probably continue repurchasing this. I try not to use a lot because I do the double cleanse, so hopefully this will last me a long time. Next up are going to be the Peaky bars. I do not have these anymore because I've gotten rid of them. I got the little travel size, so it was the 2 smaller sizes. I didn't get the travel case, just the 2. And, one's supposed to help with cleansing, one's supposed to be an exfoliating bar. So they were $16 in this travel size with the 2, which is kind of why I bought it because I was starting to experiment with Drunk Elephant. So the bars weren't amazing. I mean, it's not that I didn't like them. I just don't think that they were amazing. And the other thing is that they were really messy. So because I didn't have that travel case, I would just put them on my sink every night after using them, and residue would be on my sink. I felt like that water would just get everywhere, and it was just a mess. And so I ended up throwing them out because I wasn't a big fan. So I would not recommend the Peaky bars. So let's go ahead and move on to some of the serums that Drunk Elephant has. So let's talk about ones that are supposed to be in the morning and the ones that are supposed to be in the evening. So first up is going to be the vitamin C serum. So this one is $80, definitely more expensive, but I do feel like this has made a big difference in my skin. So before using Drunk Elephant, I was using a brand that was, they basically had different kits of different things for concern. So my concern was evening out my skin tone so that you don't get sunspots and things like that. And I felt like this, or Drunk Elephant as a whole, worked a lot better than that was. So I really like this. I know I'm paying for the formula. It does last me quite a while. I think I've had, this is my second one in the past year. So it lasts me quite a few months. I cannot remember. So it's recommended that this lasts 6 months before it expires. I do really love that they use the airless packaging so that you decrease the risk of it going bad really early. So I do love this. It says it's supposed to help brighten, firm, and create a more even looking skin complexion, which I would agree with. Definitely will continue using this. Next up is going to be the hyaluronic acid serum, which is the B-Hydra Intensive Hydration Serum. It's this. You actually get quite a bit of product in here, and it is not as expensive as some of the other products. So this one is $48, and it's for 1.69 fluid ounces. So this is supposed to basically help hydrate. It says replenishes the complexion and improves the look of skin texture and tone. One thing I did read was you need to use this with a moisturizer because the moisturizer is going to help get it into your skin. Otherwise, it will just sit on top of the skin. So you always want to use this with a moisturizer. I personally felt like this did not make a huge difference in my skin. I know it's on the cheaper end of Drunk Elephant, but I'll be honest, I think what I'm going to do is purchase hyaluronic acid from The Ordinary and use that instead of this. I don't think that this was amazing, and I don't think that it's necessary in the skincare routine. So I will not be repurchasing this in the future. The last serum that I use in the morning is going to be the D-Bronzi Anti-Pollution Sunshine Drops. So when I first saw this, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to use that. What is this supposed to do with pollution? But I don't use foundation anymore. I just use the sunscreen and mix this with it to give me a little bit of a bronze. And so I really, really like this. Things that this is supposed to do has a lot of antioxidants in it. So it is kind of like a protective layer from your skin from things in the air like pollutants. So this is $36. I think I've had it for probably 6 months, and I think I have quite a bit left in here. So this would probably last me a year, which is exactly what the expiration date is 12 months. So I use this with the moisturizer. After all the serums have kind of soaked in a little bit, I mix this with the sunscreen and put it on my face. Really, really like this. So now let's talk about nighttime serums. So let's start with the Glycolic Night Serum. So this is $90 for the smaller size. They have a taller size that is a little bit more expensive. But I do really like this as well. So again, it helps even out that skin texture. Before starting Drunk Elephant, I would have like little bumps on my skin, and I think they were almost kind of like little whiteheads and blackheads, and this definitely helped with that. So this is supposed to help resurface dull, congested skin, lifting away dead skin cells, improving the appearance of skin tone, texture, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Definitely think that this has helped. I'm definitely going to keep using this. This one has lasted me a lot longer. I think I have been using this for a year, and I'm starting to get close to being low. I have one ready to go in my bathroom so that when I run out, there will not be a break with this. Okay, another thing that I use at night is the retinol cream. This is $74, and it is supposed to help with fine lines, deep wrinkles, and some damage. So I've heard a lot about how retinol is really important, even starting, the sooner the better. I'm in my late 20s, so I definitely want to prevent any aging on my skin. So I've been using this for about a year. This is the first retinol that I was using. I started off using it really sparingly just because I heard you want to work your skin up to it, which I did. Now I'm to the point where I either use this or the Glycolic night serum and switch off every other night. I was worried because I've barely used any of this. There's a whole bunch of product left in here, and I was scared it was going to run to the expiration date, which I don't want to do just because it's expensive. I don't want to let it expire and be putting potentially something on my skin that could be breaking me out or things like that. So I've been using this more. I'm going through it a lot faster, so I think that'll be good that it won't get to the point where it'll get expired before I finish using it. I didn't really have wrinkles to begin with, so I don't really know exactly if it's reversing any damage, but I do really like the consistency of this. It hasn't really dried me out much, which, I've tried some retinol since, and those sometimes will dry me out. So this has not dried me out. Definitely keep using this because I don't want wrinkles. So the last thing that they have as a treatment is going to be the Babyfacial, which I do have here. I've had this quite a while. I'll be honest, I have not been good about using this once a week. I try to be, but then, I just fall off the wagon. So, I feel like it's probably going to go bad before I use all of it. But anyways, this is $80. It comes with 1.69 fluid ounces. Again, you're supposed to use it once a week as a deep facial. It's kind of like an intense version of the Glycolic night serum, and use this once a week. I do like when I use it, I just forget to use it. I know that The Ordinary has a very similar version, which I have tried a couple of times, and I do like it. So I don't know that I would pay $80 for this again. I would probably just use The Ordinary's version of this, to be honest, because I feel like it does very similar things. And the fact that this is probably going to go bad before I use it all, I think that one is like $10 or $15 if I'm remembering correctly from The Ordinary. Let's talk about eye care next. So I have used both of the eye creams before. The one that I'm currently using is the Shaba Complex Eye Serum, and this is $60. And this is supposed to be more for anti-aging, reducing fine lines, wrinkles, and sun damage. It is a very watery consistency compared to the other eye serum that they have, which I actually really like because it is more of a serum. I only use this at night. One of the problems that I had with the other one was wearing it under makeup, which we'll talk about, but I do really like this. And honestly, I feel like I have noticed a difference in under eye circles, even though it doesn't advertise that this is supposed to help with under eye circles. I do really, really like this so far. I have used the other one, and that one is called the C-Tango Multivitamin Eye Cream. That one is $64. I think that one's more designed for evening out the skin tone underneath and to help with under eye circles. I felt like it was a really thick consistency, and so it didn't really lay nicely under makeup, which I usually use it in the morning just because it's supposed to help with under eye circles. And I just wasn't a big fan. I ended up throwing it out even before I was through it just because I didn't really like it. Let's move into moisturizers next. So I have used the Lala Retro and the Protini in the past. I have really liked them. So the Lala Retro is $60 and the Protini is $68. So I started off using the Protini. I liked it. I then was like, let me try the Lala Retro because that one's going to be more for moisturizing. So I did use that. I did really like it. I feel like there are other moisturizers that work just as well as the Lala Retro. So it's like $60 versus, $10 or $15 at the drugstore. I personally like the CeraVe moisturizer or I've been using one, I think it's called Waluda. And I have been liking that one too. I feel like those work just as well as the Lala Retro and the Protini. So I probably will not be repurchasing those moisturizers. One thing that I do really like again is that airless packaging with the pump so that you don't get air in there and then risk the chance of any bacteria getting into your moisturizer. So I do like that. I've been thinking maybe to just refill those containers with drugstore moisturizer, and then you get that same effect where it's the airless packaging. And I do really like mixing all of the different serums and moisturizers on top of the container, it's nice to just mix it up rather than in your hand. I feel like sometimes things like fall through my fingers. Next up is going to be the Marula oil. So I have the larger one, which is $72. They have a smaller one that's $40, but I felt like I went through this really fast. Just being in a drier climate, it helps a lot with keeping my skin moisturized. I have been thinking about trying The Ordinary. I know that they have a Marula oil as well. I just want to look more and see if there's any other ingredients, see what the quality of the Marula oil is, just because it surprises me that huge price difference. So I am considering that just to try something different, and I can let you guys know in the future. So yeah, I do really like that. Sometimes when I'm dry, I will use it in the morning, but I mostly use this at night, usually 2 drops, sometimes 3, depending on how everything's feeling. So next up is going to be the F-Balm Waterfacial. So this is normally $52, and this is supposed to be a cooling overnight mask to help plump and restore the skin with an electrolyte cocktail while strengthening the skin's acid mantle. So I usually just use this after doing some sort of mask like the Babyfacial or the Ordinary's version. And I don't know that I would necessarily say that my skin is more moisturized after using this. I personally think that the Marula oil does a better job of moisturizing my skin. I'll probably use this up. I probably will not be repurchasing this again in the future. Next up is going to be sunscreen. So I have used both of the sunscreens before. I've used the untinted one. That one is $34. I'll be honest, it made my eyebrows turn purple. It must have just been some of the minerals in there, but my eyebrows got this like purple tint. So I got rid of that one and I instead got the tinted version. This one is $36, and I think you actually get a little bit less product than the untinted version, but this one does not turn my eyebrows purple, and I really like it. Like I said earlier, I will mix it with those sunshine drops just to give a little bit of color in my skin, and this is basically my foundation now. So I do really, really like this. Last up that I don't have here with me because it's up in my bedroom is going to be the balm, the Lippe Balm. So I bought that, and it's nice. It smells like the Marula oil, but I don't think it's better than any other chapstick that I've used before, so I probably will not be repurchasing that. I believe that one is like $20 for a tiny little, okay, so it's $18 for this little lip balm, and I'll be honest, I just really like the Blistex like mint, and that one you can get like 3 for a few bucks. So I probably will not be repurchasing that one in the future either. Okay, so that is everything that I've tried from Drunk Elephant. I have not tried any of the hair or body products yet, but just skincare, things that I like, things that I don't like, what I will repurchase and what I don't feel like is worth repurchasing. I wanted to talk a little bit about how I save money with purchasing Drunk Elephant because it is a more expensive brand. So I usually will purchase products during different sales. So, either around Thanksgiving or Sephora usually has the spring sale. So I always look like, what am I running low on? What will I be running out soon? Getting it at that discount. That way I have it. I don't have to worry about going to the store to get it. And that way you don't pay full price for it. And I just kind of keep a few items just in stock in my bathroom. So that's helped a lot, is saving a few bucks just because it is a little bit more expensive. But I do feel like since switching over, my skin has been doing so well. Minimal breakups, and my blackheads are going away, pores are getting smaller, my skin feels really moisturized and clean. So I do really love the quality of Drunk Elephant. And I know there are different dupes out there. I just am so nervous because I know that Drunk Elephant is a clean brand. They don't use a lot of things that are supposed to be irritating to the skin. And that just worries me that, other things might be cheaper, very similar, but if they have other fillers in there that could irritate my skin, it can kind of mess everything up. So, I found what I like. I'm going to stick with it. So let me know what products you like from Drunk Elephant. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time.